wonderful friends. Welcome to the first edition of the Overflowing Glass video edition. I decided this might be a fun, more interactive way to get the things across that I want to get across and to have another way to interact with you. So I thought I'd give a little bit of introduction. My name is Brandy and I got interested in the esoteric, the more weirder side of beliefs when I was probably about 9 years old. Up until that point, I loved rocks. I loved collecting rocks. I didn't know why, but I loved that. And I found out that you could become a geologist and study rocks. And that's what I wanted to do with my life for a long time. I wanted to be a geologist. But every time I saw a rock with quartz or mica, I had to collect it because it was a pretty sparkly rock and I loved it. So about 9 years old, I believe I was 9, maybe 8, I was on a trip with my mom. We went out to California, and this is when I used to live in Colorado, so road trip Colorado, California. And I remember listening to Enya and Fresh Air and Christopher's Dream and just these amazing, very spiritual songs, and we listened to it the whole way there and I loved it. And when we were there, one of my aunties took us to a metaphysical shop, and it was my first experience ever in a metaphysical shop. And I felt so at home. I felt like this is where I need to be. This is my place. And I didn't quite understand why. I just knew that that was where I needed to be. And a while later, I found a book. It was called Crystal Enlightenment. I can't remember who it's by, but I will put a link in the description. The name is just, I think it's Katrina Raphael, but it's called Crystal Enlightenment. I was 9 years old, and reading this book meant for adults. And reading how to heal people with crystals, reading about how crystals are a reflection of your innermost thoughts, and I understood it at 9 years old. I understood it completely, and I was hooked. I loved it. Things have happened since then that of course changed my belief system and the way I do things. I've dabbled in different kinds of religion, different kinds of belief systems, but I always go back to the earth, to crystals, to herbs, to oils, burning sage. That's just always kind of been my thing. And now I'm a total believer in things like crystals, things like sage. I believe in full moon rituals. I have had some amazing experiences. I believe in the healing powers of herbs, of essential oils, but more than anything, I believe in the healing power of the mind. I believe that there's nothing the mind can't cure. Now, me saying that, don't take that as me saying don't use Western medicine. No, even I use Western medicine when I get sick. It's not that I don't believe in what I'm preaching, but I want to take every precaution possible. So if Western medicine can heal something better, faster, more efficiently, I'm probably going to go that route. Don't get me wrong. And there are certain things that I'm just hesitant to put in my body that haven't been proven to be safe. So by all means, I am not saying don't use Western medicine. I say use them together as an accompaniment, as an alternative. I don't want to say alternative, but just as in addition to, as opposed to instead of. I never want to say don't get help that you might desperately need, because that's dangerous. Things can go bad if you let them go too long without really addressing them. So that's, you can kind of hear if you're clicking, it's my bracelets. Oh, I'm not wearing bracelets on that side. That's what the clicking sound is, because I'm moving my hands a lot. But yeah, so I thought I would come on here and tell you about myself. So I did get interested in a very young age in crystals and crystal healing, in the more esoteric, but I didn't dive too far into it. And yeah, I've dabbled in different types of religion, different types of belief systems, but I always keep going back to this one. And so I would say probably about high school, I discovered meditation. And during theater class, our teacher would have us do a guided meditation before class. And that's the part of class that we all looked forward to. We all loved it so much because it got us focused, it got us relaxed. For 20 minutes, we didn't have to worry about anything. We could just breathe and not have to worry about anything. And that prepared us to get on stage and do the best we could for our performances. I'm so grateful to my teacher for teaching me that meditation is a great form of relaxation and focus. So grateful for that. I do feel a little guilty that I would cut her class because I cut her class often. But it was amazing. That's one of the most valuable lessons I took out of high school, was how to meditate. And I think it's something that needs to be taught everywhere. Getting a little older, I got certified in level 1 and level 2 crystal healing. Took a couple classes in that. It was really amazing. It was amazing to see people of like minds come together and want to heal each other and want to heal other people. It was beautiful. And that was also my first experience of meeting somebody that I'm pretty sure I met in a past life. There was a woman there, her name was Star, and we just kept looking at each other. Do I know you? Do I know you? Do I know you? And we were both asking that to ourselves. And at the end of one of the classes, finally, I just went up to her and I'm like, I don't know why I keep looking at you, but do I know you? And we both do feel that in a past life we met each other. And that was my first experience of, how do I know this person? I've never met this person in this life. And then turns out that I probably met them in a past life. So that was a pretty amazing experience. Went on for a few years, nothing significant changed. Nothing big, just went about working and taking care of a kid, and nothing major happened. And then I found a book on personal development. And it was the first book I ever read on personal development, and it was the first time I ever realized I had a choice in how my life could unfold. I had the ability to create my life. And up until that point, I'd always been in victim mentality. I never thought that I had the choice. I always thought that because I was abused at a certain age and was raised a certain way and didn't have money growing up, I did feel that that was my life and that's what I was stuck with. And by reading this book, it was the first time I was ever understanding that my life can be different, that I have the power to make changes. And it was after reading that book that I decided to leave my husband of, about that time, I want to say we were married about 6 years. And that was one of the hardest things I've ever done. He held all the power. It was hard for me because he made a lot more money than I did. He was a lot more responsible than I was. He was much better at adulting. I would say to this day, he still is probably much better at adulting than I ever was. So it was very hard for me, but I was unhappy and he was unhappy. And one of us had to take the plunge and say, this has to change. And because I read a book that kind of said, hey, you can do what you want, you can take charge of your life. That was one of my first experiences with that. And him and I are friends to this day, but it was good to be able to say, this doesn't work anymore. Let's try something new. So, went on for a while, struggling, trying to make ends meet, being a mama and being single and just working a job I hated, to be honest, working a job I didn't click with. And my mom gave me the book, The Secret. And from the book, I also was inspired to buy the movie. And that's when I realized there's no limits. That's when I realized and truly understood the law of attraction. And I think of that book and that video as a great stepping stone, a great introduction. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to manifesting your dreams, but that's a great place to start. It's ask, believe, and receive. And it teaches you to believe in miracles and to not worry about how, not stress about how am I going to do this, just that it will be done, that you will receive. And I would say that's one of the more life-changing books that I've ever read, because from that moment, I decided to start putting it to the test. Just ask for things like a cup of coffee. I did the parking lot game that they mention in The Secret, where you visualize a parking space and it opens up for you, and it opens up for you every single time. That was really fun. I had that experience, but I use it mostly with material possessions, but not really understanding fully about creating more of your life, being more well-rounded and being happier in your relationship with yourself, with other people, creating more in terms of your career, your creativity, your spirituality. I kind of just thought it was like a physical manifestation thing, manifesting material objects, but it's definitely more than that. And now I'm at the point, okay, so, when was that? Over a year ago, I told this story on my podcast, but I was at work and I was getting off the bus to go to work. It's a couple blocks from the bus stop to work, and I was walking and thinking, sometimes I wish I just get hit by a bus so I wouldn't have to go to work. I would rather have that physical pain of getting hit by a bus than go to my job, because I was so unhappy and because it was so toxic. And that weekend, I got injured. I got injured badly, to the point where I couldn't work for a few months. And so I took it as an opportunity. Instead of saying, okay, I'm a victim and I'm gonna lay here and put my feet up, and because I can't walk, I'm not gonna try. I could have done that. I did for a couple days. I won't lie. I did for a couple days. But then I really understood this happened because I asked for it. I asked for a break from this job that was killing me. And I said, this is the time where I need to start opening my mind and opening my heart to other possibilities out there. What else is going on out there? What else can I learn? And so I started Googling, and I started watching YouTube videos on manifestation, on law of attraction. And that really started, I guess you could say, my spiritual awakening. I have to shift a little bit. So that really started what I would call my spiritual awakening. That's where I started deep diving, doing shadow work, confronting things in the past that made me feel that I couldn't contribute and that I couldn't live the life of my dreams. Confronting all my demons and all my shadows. And it was one of the most painful and hardest things I've ever done. But that pain's not there anymore. It's gone because I've done the work and I've released it. So having those, I think it was about 2.5 months, having that time off was so valuable. It got me in touch with who I am really at my core. The energy, the heart center, that I am just love, and that I am light, and that I am not just this meat that's in front of you, this skin that's in front of you. There's more to me than that. So after a while, started to get back in the groove of things, and work started getting nasty again and just not enjoying it. And that's when I realized that I'm not using my creativity to its fullest potential. So what can I do? And that's when I decided to make The Overflowing Glass, my podcast, because I felt that I did have stuff to offer people, that I did have just wisdom and advice from my years of doing it wrong. I learned from doing it wrong. And through the years, I've just learned so much, and I want to tell everybody what I've learned. I get asked so many times, why are you so happy? Why are you always smiling? How can you be so bubbly all the time? And it's because I've learned that I've learned that I can be, and that you can be. You have to make the decision to be happy. You have to make the decision to be energetic and bubbly. But because I've made that decision, I've just decided that I want to give that to everybody else. That I want to teach everybody else how to be like that as well. I do firmly believe that there is room for everybody to achieve your goals and to achieve your dreams. That we don't need to hold each other down. We don't need to compete with each other. Women, I'm talking to you especially. We have to come together, because there is just so much out there that we can get and that we can achieve. But we've got to believe in it. We've got to believe that there's more than what this scarcity is telling us. There's infinite abundance, infinite possibility, infinite intelligence. I'm here to just kind of help you tap into that a little bit, and maybe in the process, get it for myself as well, if that makes any sense. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Now I am the creator of the Overflowing Glass podcast and now YouTube channel. And I'm also going to be putting together some courses on enhancing your life using manifestation, law of attraction, energy, light work, heart work. I am also starting a foray into being an intuitive personal stylist. I do have 2 personal styling certificates from 2 different schools and never knew how to put it to work. And now I do. Now I know how to go to the inside to figure out who you really are, to then be able to express yourself on the outside. So that's another part of it too, intuitive personal styling. So I'm just kind of here doing all kinds of fun stuff, just trying to spread my light, spread my word, and I'm so happy that I get to see you and that you get to see me and we get to connect on video. And I love this. I love this so much. So if you have any questions, if you have any topics that you want me to dive into, please don't hesitate to ask me. Leave it in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on the notifications so that you know when I post another video. All right, I will talk to you later. I love you all. Bye. Mwah.